Hey everybody, welcome back to some chess. 297,000 people currently playing. Let's send it with 10-minute rapid. By the way, thank you for all the support on the series so far. Much appreciated. I will be playing the black pieces against Ismit Djemke today. Now that is an opening I'm just willing to admit I am completely unfamiliar with. The G3, 1G3 opening. We are on the road to 1,500 right now, 1,500 ELO. So you're going to push that. Okay. I honestly, I am immediately flying by the seat of my pants. But I got a hunch, okay? You're putting a lot of pressure on this piece. You're not going to allow that bishop to leave. Understandable. Have a good day. I'm skeptical of what my opponent is doing, and yet simultaneously I'm scared. You know what I mean? I'm simultaneously both skeptical and scared because they're flying by the seat of their pants. Here's what I'm thinking right now. What if they hold on. How do you delete that? Wait a minute. How did I predict their move? That's the real question. I don't really know what they're doing. I'm willing to admit it. What I am going to do is I'm going to play pawn to a6. Then I want to see what they do from there. Tomo, you'd like to enter the room? No problem. I'm in the middle of the most intellectually stimulating game of all time. But why not? Why not? Hit him. Oh, he already moved. He already moved. All right. Hold on. We've got some initiative here. We have a great opportunity to do something. Here was my thinking right here, all right? It doesn't work anymore. But I will say, the guy has moved his queen. He's trying to attack this, right? What if I do that, though? Gives us some protection. It's a little weird, but this is kind of a weird game so far. He's moved like 4 total pieces. Let's see how he wants to handle it. You can go here. You can go here. You can't go here. You can't go here. Told you could go there. I don't really know what he's going to do next, to be honest with you. Kind of like being right here and then immediately getting forked like so. Not my finest move, okay? Certainly not my finest move. Let me think. It was just not a smart play. Like in the least. And then this is, it's not totally open, but just trying to think about how I'd like to react to this. Which piece would we rather save? That was an enormous blunder, I think it's fair to say. Generally, the bishop tends to be worth more. However, by doing this, we can at least screw up his king side a little bit. Is it the right play? I couldn't in good conscience say that. I feel like we are definitely at a disadvantage right now. We are on the road to 1,500, okay? I'm hoping we can get there. It might take a bit. Might not. Yeah, Rome wasn't built in a day or what have you. Let me get a little kingside castling going on. We do have a check here, but one of the things, and again, I'm not really the right kind of guy. Oh, he's castling. I'm not really the right guy to be like, lecturing at this point. But check is not always the right move. It definitely, I wouldn't say check is overrated. I'm going to try something weird. I wouldn't say check is overrated, but I would say it's maybe overrepresented. We don't really want to trade pieces right now just because of the fact that, he's in a better position. By the way, I apologize if there's like a little... I can't... Oh, you know what? I think I've fixed my technical bug there. If you were seeing like screen flashing, you will no longer see screen flashing. This one's weird to me. I feel like he just gave me a piece for free, but I might be mistaken. This is where we start to think. Like, he's got 2 pawns and a bishop. I got 2 pawns and a knight that I've captured. So we actually like pulled ourselves back. I think he wants to take this, would be my guess. But let's put his queen under threat. This is a pretty strong position for our bishop to be in, because if he moves his king to g1, we can capture his e2 pawn. And we also, like, it's possible if he moves to a horrible position, like here or here, we could then go... Oh, my. Oh, daddy! Okay, so we got a fork set up where we are going to be able to capture either of these. Presumably, he's going to move his queen, especially because he can't move his rook. Other potential moves for the future. Bishop to here is something we got to watch for, but I'm definitely willing to sack that pawn. How do you cancel moves? I'd like to cancel moves, please. Cancel all moves. What have I done? Well, I mean, okay, so this is going to be spiced in the future, but you got to do that. That's like a gimme. It's well worth it, by the way, well worth it. And we now start to put some pressure. Does that mean we're up by 2 points? I think it means we're up by 2 points. Okay, so his queen is not in a good spot, which is wonderful. What we should do is this, in my opinion. Well, you know, we do want to protect this, but I don't mind that bishop getting kind of screwed here, to be honest with you. I don't really want to give him the initiative. Like, I kind of prefer keeping his bishop. I know this seems like I'm giving him too much here, and you might be right, but it's an interesting move for sure. We can continue putting the pressure on him, though. Like, this now puts him in a horrible position. This pawn has so many threats approaching it. We can even, if we take this pawn, we can then capture this one with our bishop. He's going to be a little bit scared. For certain, I would say. Now, you definitely do not want to do queen to there like I was originally thinking. But I'll tell you, we can remove his bishop from the equation. This will still probably get hit. I love that his queen is just like completely sequestered. This is the thinking man's move, because this is where things could go terribly wrong. I see some lines. One is this. You know, you protect this pawn so he doesn't get you. One is this check, which will probably force him to go back, likely to here, at which point we would then go here. If you'll just give me a sec, I'm working on it, okay? We'll go there, which would give us a fork here and here. So he would probably trade bishop and give us a pretty good position, but then it does still leave this open, which I kind of hate. There you go, just left click clears it. We can't capture this because obviously this is under control here. We have tons of time. Like, I'm not sweating this one at all. It really is more of a question of what we prefer in terms of our own survival. If he wants to capture this, like this bishop right here, I think I'm totally fine with it. It's kind of in a terrible position. So I'm actually just going to push the pawn, which actually serves an extra benefit, believe it or not. This is maybe a little bit... I'm tapping into skills I haven't used in a while, so your safety is not guaranteed. But now if I check here, he goes here. I move my knight to here. I mean, this is... We expected this would happen. Basically, this bishop got stronger because we created this like sweet black diagonal path here. We want to stop that. So what we're going to do is this. Put him in check. He will likely move here. He could move to e1. Either way, we're doing this, right? And then we're going to leave it up to him. Presumably, he will capture with the bishop. If he, I mean, or he could move his rook, and we would sack the knight for the bishop probably. Or, well, it depends. I mean, he could make, there's any variety of terrible moves, but your strategy should not really rely on your enemy making horrible moves. It's kind of an interesting choice. Unexpected. Not necessarily bad, just unexpected. We could threaten the queen, but honestly, I kind of like his queen being in the position that it's in. I think we should make the board state more complex. I think we should force his hand into some weird positions. Like, for example, Why not just, I mean, it's a little spicy because it opens up this diagonal pretty badly, but why not threaten his bishop, and then he can only go here, 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 and here. Here we take, here, yeah, see, so we forced this hand a little bit. How do I like the situation? I think there's things to like and things not to like. Interesting. I don't really know. I mean, if he goes here, do I care, I guess is the question. This would now be an opportunity to start, and time's getting a little tight. This could now be an opportunity to start sort of... oh, he's going for this check. Hold on. So that's something we should watch out for. Actually, it's got a really nice position here that I did not see coming. We can't move up, so hold on. Hold on. You gotta focus on your own cerebrum here. Things could get a little dangerous. And we're definitely getting light on time. Definitely getting light on time. Think we want to honestly do like this? Let me think. Okay, so he's probably going to check me regardless. I'll move my king out of the way. No, dude, this is bad. This is actually a really bad situation because of the exposed, like, discovered attack that he can do here. I believe that's what it's called. So this is a real, like, thinking man's opportunity for sure. Either way, we want to remove the opportunity for the fork. I think we have to look at something like that, even though it does give his knight quite a lot of priority. I don't really have time to puzzle it out, but there were some really kind of tricky lines that were happening in there. So we got to start moving a little faster. Like, we knew that this was a possibility. And I know this seems like it sucks really bad, but we have to do this, even though he's going to put us in check right after. Yeah. So if he goes here, we just move here, even though it looks, again, kind of stinky. We can't just keep getting caught. Like, this queen has so much coverage over here. I thought it was a horrible position for this queen, but actually, like, the fact that they've got, you know, from A1 to H8 is pretty bad. So this was unexpected. I don't know what to do from here. I think this is okay. We don't really have too much time. This is where time's going to be at a premium. They can't do knight to here or queen to here because now we got double. Actually, you know what? They totally can. I didn't even consider the fact that the rook is here. But I guess the real question is, why would you put the knight there? This is about, that's more along the lines of what I figured would happen here. Certainly a little bit more of a tenuous game now. Definitely a dangerous situation. I want to get on the attack. Like, I think, as weird as this may look, something like this. No, because we're so light on time. I mean, this has got to move. It's that simple. So let's do this. He might do this, at which point we can actually move our rook here, and then he's got to really deal with this problem. I forgot that this rook is actually pinned to the king. In which point, yeah, I was just, oh, he moved knight back earlier. Interesting. I mean, we got a very limited time. Go ahead, decimate my pawns. I didn't even think about this right here. Okay, this is horrible. It's a very horrible situation. This is basically what happens when you run out of time. Pretty not good. We should probably resign. I'm very nervous about the what the analysis of this game is going to look like. We pretty much did it to ourselves by taking too much time and a couple like outrageous blunders. He blundered too, but and I suppose there's always a chance. But we'll play this one out. We've only got a minute. Oh, I got checkmated. 7 blunders, 1 missed win. Go ahead, analyze the game. I'm embarrassed. I think we were in a good position there and we screwed it up, but it is what it is. You know, it is pretty early in the morning over here. I apologize for my performance. 59.1 accuracy for them versus 28.4 from me. F in the chat, please. This was a big blunder. What happened after this? What we should have done knight to g4. Knight to g. Oh, we did knight to a1. Oh, dude, we could have forked the king and the queen. I mean, that's your missed win right there. I don't even need to look at the next. I don't even need to look at the remaining blunders because that blunder is so bad. Let's do a new 10-minute game, please. That's one where I just have to take the L, okay? Tedajin 29. Let's do this, all right? I'm an E4 boy. It feels like this is the first time we played the white pieces in like 4 games. Sicilian defense. Ooh la la. I play the knight to F3 variety. Oh, you play the French variation. We have a Hafu viewer. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a Hafu viewer in the chat. I don't play closed games whenever I have the opportunity to do tempo. So or to control the pace of the game, I should say. So if you want to play this closed Sicilian game, honestly, like I'm gonna make you think about it. I'm gonna turn you from Bobby Fischer into Mikhail Tal. Okay. By the way, was Ismet Zemke a good sport? Absolutely. Give them a thumbs up on that. Give them a thumbs up. Give them a thumbs up on that one. They were indeed a good sport, in my opinion. Let's get a check here. I know it seems a little why. Like a little why would you do that? It's quite simple. I don't know. It's kind of what I was hoping for right there, actually. We'll do a quick take. And we're just going to we're going to keep the pressure on them. I feel fairly comfortable with this situation. If you want to take it, go ahead and take it. I think it benefits us. We get our castle out quickly. You haven't developed your king side at all. Now, mind you, we haven't developed our queen side at all, but, you know, if ifs and buts were candies and nuts, we'd all have a Merry Christmas. What does it mean? Nobody knows, but it gets the people going. Now, here's something interesting. If they do pawn to a6, like so, you might think we just back it up. Not a good move, because then they push pawn to b5. Then you go, okay, well, we'll just go here. Nah, because then they move pawn to c4, and all of a sudden our bishop's trapped. We don't want that, even though, you know, it would screw up their pawn structure a little bit. So if they do this, we have to either capture or probably go back to here. We might consider going back to here. If I could just... There we go. Because later on, we could put our rook on the E column. And then at some point, we could get a discovered check. A discovered check is just when you move a piece, and then that causes a piece behind to enter into check. So I honestly think that... in all likelihood, they will probably try to do a queenside castle, which is, you know, a lot of very beginner level chess players think that you can only do a kingside castle. It's not the case. You can do both. I like that we've got this pawn isolated here. But I mean, honestly, I'm just gonna level with you. I have no idea if this is like the way. I think I want to swap. I think I'm willing to start doing some swaps here. They are going to take this pawn with their bishop, and then they could possibly castle kingside. I prefer my pawn position right now, and I definitely prefer my clock position right now. So I feel like this is an acceptable trade for us. Although I will say, at this point, we have given up a knight for a bishop, which is certainly a negative. I think because you're going to capture that. You know what? Let's defend it then. Let's defend that pawn. Defending this pawn also has the secondary benefit of keeping this bishop hemmed in, so we can really only go here, or they could play this pretty common pawn to g5 and then put the bishop in the spot behind it. So they're going to castle kingside. Not much we can do about it, even if we wanted to, which I'm not sure that we do. This is the thinking man's move. This pawn is going to be weak. This pawn is going to be weak. This is an amazing spot for this knight to be. I think you kind of don't lose by developing a piece, you know? Like, if we can get our knight to here, we're not even really worried about, like, a fork situation. It's more just putting the piece behind enemy lines and kind of forcing their hand. Because it also, you know, it'll force this rook to move somewhere, which will also maybe give us the ability to get pressure on this pawn. And then there's always the, you know, anytime you get, you know, attacks that can happen on the kingside castle position, start to make the other opponent a little bit nervous, you know, a little bit nervous about things. It has the secondary benefit, I suppose, of protecting this pawn, but it's not the principal setup. Interesting move. Hear me out. Kind of like this to start. Let's see how you approach it from this point onward. Fast move. Can't really blame you. Now, let's get weird, okay? I'm going to put my queen here. You might question the move. If they take, I'm actually going to take with the pawn. It does expose my king, and it screws up my pawn structure something fierce, but it's more fun. Like, if you do this, you might think that I do that. I'm going to do this instead, which keeps the threat on this pawn. Now that I think about it, I'm like, does that actually matter? Maybe not. It does do us the added benefit of exposing this rook, which is kind of something that you want to happen at some point to begin with. It's just a move that's confusing. But this is kind of, it's like an interesting board state now, I would say. So let's get super weird with it. Let's force this bishop into a strange position. Not this bishop. This bishop. Now this bishop has no pawn protecting it, and also like no good moves. So this bishop is like, it's worth less than a ketchup popsicle if you're wearing white gloves. To steal a line from Tommy Boy? I think that's from Tommy Boy. It's a very strange position we find ourselves in. Very strange indeed. But people are strange, you know? Now, this bishop is also kind of like, I mean, I don't know if it's a bad move, really, but you're kind of hemmed in. I don't really mind if you take this piece, is what it comes down to. It doesn't really bother me. But I do really like this. I mean, I assume you're going to capture this. At which point I'm going to capture that. And things are going to get spicy because our king side is like so destroyed. But it's worth it in theory to get up by the bishop, I think. There's some very, very funky plays in our future. In particular, this queen has a real spicy setup right now. They can't really afford to leave this area like right here, because otherwise our knight exposes a fork here, and things like start to close in. It's like the end of der Untergang. Is that what it's called? German name for the bunker. You know what I'm talking about. Oh, a sand trap on a golf course. That's what I was referring to. All right, so we're going to cap no matter what. We knew this was coming next. We are up by 4 points. We have traded something for those 4 points, though. What we have traded is a quite vulnerable king side. We do, have an escape route, but it's especially with bishops and rooks like still very much on the board. It's kind of a dangerous situation. So bum bum dum dum. I mean, I still like this, honestly. You can't convince me not to like this. But this is probably our biggest move in a while. I would definitely say that like this move is pretty good. Let's walk it through. We got time. We move here. We put a threat on this. You can't take. Like if you, no matter what you take with, we'd get you. And then, I mean, I don't know where you go from there. We'd be totally destroyed pawn wise. Like our defenses will be bad. It also would give us coverage over here. If we happen to move this rook, then our knight could slot in there and we'd have a fork setup. So I think as of right now, unless I'm confused, I like this. And if you, I even forgot that we had the bishop there to begin with, to be honest with you. So no matter what you, okay. I still don't really feel like we're sweating it all that much, unless I'm confused. And now we definitely want to trade because we're ahead. We could always just put our queen right here and try to force something down because we are threatening mate on this. But anyway, the ball's in their court right now. Of course, we have also exposed this right here. But something tells me there's going to be some action right here. I don't want to, because who knows how this game's going to go. I don't want to give any feedback that's like, well, yeah, you really blew it. But I do feel like when they threatened like several moves ago with this bishop to this bishop, or you know what I mean, like that, I feel like we should have, or they should have been a little bit more aggro there. Can I just tell you, like, straight up, I don't mind this at all. But there's probably a better move that I'm not considering. I don't really... I mean, we can't really... I mean, never mind. We can kind of do this. Because I think what they want to do, they want me to move. So let's say I move here and capture this pawn. They come down here, and then there's more threats here. But we can also kind of force their hand. I mean, here's the thing. We're in such a good spot, in my opinion. I kind of just like this. And then we'll force them to do something. Oh, let me rephrase. I don't like that. What I do like is this. Then they kind of are forced to take. At which point we do this. And if they might give us mate, that's not really what we're betting on. But even if they swap queens, you know, we have the extra knight. Doesn't necessarily like guarantee success, but it's not going to be like an automatic endgame. It also depends how they play it. So like here, saves mate. Here saves mate. Here saves mate. Next step, I think, is we're going to be... We're still trying to trade pieces down because we're up by one. So, like, the more we... Anytime we can do a 50-50 trade, we get a little closer. Like, let me put it this way. If you had $1 billion and then, you know... This isn't what I expected, but I get it. The play for them is they want this piece. This pawn, I should say. Which is understandable. We can kind of just let them have the pawn. I think we definitely want to trade. Because I don't think there's much we can do to protect it. Actually, that's wrong. We could totally do this. I think we can let them have that pawn. This is the thinking man's game now. We have to be careful a little bit about mate. They're not getting any further. That's something worth noting here. This one, I'm now like, we gotta use our noggin. Things get a little spiced here. I'd like to trade rooks. I'd like to find a way to trade rooks. I'm letting you take the pawn for now. Just for now. I don't mind. Don't mind at all, quite frankly. Couldn't care less. Let's make some moves. Now things are going to start to go pretty quick. I'm thinking we got like this. Like our knight is, because our knight is kind of the free piece right now. It's one of the only pieces that's not locked into something. We can start to get this moving. So I didn't really want to give up our, c2 pawn. But on the other hand, we have a position from which we can kind of operate behind enemy lines. All the other, more or less, all the other black pieces are kind of, spoken for. Like, what's the rook going to do? Oh, they're going to try to put pressure on that? Actually makes, like, a lot of sense, to be honest with you. It's actually a move that I just didn't consider, quite frankly. Doesn't this open something to us? I'm okay with it. Honestly, I'm okay with it. Because we get to trade. We're going to have to play well, but we're still going to have the knight. We're going to be like one pawn down, maybe two pawns down. But we're going to have a knight. Certainly an interesting game. So what's the play? Well, we want to protect this pawn. Really, again, I mean, we've seen this in the puzzles before. If you can push the pawn to the end, you win. This is now a game where, like, I am winning for certain, but if I push the pawn to the end, I win 1,000,000%. So let me see if I can go here. I think we go here. If you want to threaten it, then threaten it. That's your call. That's your prerogative. I think as the game goes on here, our board situation is a little simplified, which is great. Because as they run out of time, all we have to do is not get baited into... I mean, we have to keep our head on a swivel, but we have to not get baited into a stalemate, too, where you make the same move 3 times in a row, and then it's an automatic draw. So we are winning. I want to be clear. We have a 2-point advantage. It's not a ton, but the 2 points are, from a piece, and we still have our rooks available. Like, they have a pawn advantage, basically. But the real meat and potatoes of this one right now is that there's only 55 seconds left on the clock. If we had a full chess, like 2 hours amount of time, this is where we'd now be starting to, think of some pretty serious lines. But because we're playing rapid, at least I think it's rapid, we should be like pretty good to just press the issue. What are you doing there? See, we got time. Oh, they've resigned. Okay. I had a feeling. No blunders, 1 mistake. Dude, that's, by my standards, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Let's see what the analysis looks like here. I did feel like we came to a pretty good advantage in the mid game there. So let's see. We had 89 versus 83 accuracy. I can live with that. No blunders. We made 17 best moves. Nice win. You were never in trouble. Oh, let's see the enemy blunder. Okay, that was one where, yeah, we made this move, which apparently was a good move. I guess that's considered the best move. What happens if you do that? Bishop to f4. So I take this. Then he takes this. Then hold on. Bishop takes g5. Hold on. No. Stop it, okay? So my move, they wanted bishop to f4 instead. So if we back it up, that would be this bishop going here. Okay. Then the black piece would do this. That seems a little presumptuous to me. I guess it threatens the queen. Anyway, whatever. Take me out of this line. That I agree that this next move was a blunder. It was questionable. What was their other blunder? Rook to b3. Dude, only 2 blunders for a 1300 elo player. It's pretty good too. Like I agree with the report that the game was intense there. This must have been a bad move for us. Yeah, they considered this a questionable move. What was the actual move that should be done there? I don't know. Anyway, probably they want us to figure out a way to block this position and then get a rook down there for check, which would actually be checkmate if this spot was blocked. But anyway, good episode. 1 win, 1 loss. For now, thanks for watching. If you're enjoying the chess, click the like button. That helps out a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. I appreciate all your support on the series so far, and I'll see you next time. See ya!